My name is Cassidy Horn, and I am the social media manager for the Boutique Hub. I'm currently in Photoshop and just wanted to give y'all a quick little tutorial, like the basics of editing photos. I have been using Photoshop since I was a freshman in high school, and I just graduated college, so about 8 years now. I've been shooting with digital SLR cameras for the same amount of time. I do um, weddings, senior portraits, family portraits, the whole 9 yards. I was just very fortunate to have a yearbook teacher in high school who taught me the basics for all of these, and then I took some classes in college, and I am Adobe Photoshop certified, but I know how to use the entire suite. So if you ever have any questions about anything Adobe, shoot me an email or message us on Facebook, and I will try my hardest to help you. So just in general, if you've never used Photoshop before, um, this is your toolbar over here. I don't know. The tools that I most use probably crop, your healing selection, or your healing brush tool. Your clone stamp's pretty good too when the healing brush just won't cut it. Whoops. You can select things. So like, let's say that I wanted to cut myself out of this photo. Oh, this is me, by the way, in the middle of the screen. Thank you, Mom, for the awesome picture. So this is your lasso tool that you can very easily just draw and select things, like whatever you want. You can also do your polygonal lasso tool. This just kind of latches onto the edges of whatever you're doing. So let me zoom in here a little more. You can click and it will just, oh, well, never mind. This is straight edge. Goodness. Oh, oh man, deselect. Okay, whoops. As you can see, I'm not just great at Photoshop. I'm by no means like a professional, but I know how to use it for what I want to do. So this is the tool I was talking about that's pretty cool. If you're wanting to select something. Do you see as I'm going along, I'm not clicking or anything. It is just like kind of attaching itself to the edges that I get close to. And then I'm going to click there and then drag across. And go up again. And this is going to be not perfect. And then you can even, so then I'm going to go up here and get my selection tool. And I can move myself, which is pretty neat. So I just hit Control Z and I'm going to right click. Hopefully, right click, hit deselect. Let's see here, what else would you all find useful? Oh, okay, so this is your dodge and burn tool. I use these quite a bit. Dodge makes things lighter without making the entire image lighter. So, and then burn, same deal. Makes things darker without making the entire image darker. And if you hit your bracket, if you're on a Mac, I might be the same for Windows, I'm not sure. It'll make your paintbrush bigger without actually having to go up here and select your size and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go back up here. Oh, I'm in my history tab, and this just shows like every action you take. So you can go back without having to hit Control Z several times. So this sharpen and blur and smudge tool. When you see the ridiculous Photoshops of like Kim Kardashian trying to make her butt look bigger, she's using most likely this smudge tool. So like let's make her butt bigger. You just like move it however you want to. And it kind of makes it blurry, and like that's obviously not as great. Apparently Kim Kardashian's better at using the smudge tool than I am. Yeah. And then the sharpen tool, same thing. You can sharpen just specific parts of your image. And the blur tool, so let's say you wanted to make whatever was behind your model blurry, same thing. And you can adjust your strength and your hardness and all that good stuff up here. but you can kind of see it making it blurrier. Now, one of the things, you don't want to alter your images too much because then it just looks fake. People can tell when things are fake. So if you do everything with moderation. All right, so when I'm editing images for, I just recently did engagement pictures. My standard procedure for going through and editing photos, I just opened the image. I go in, I go to image, adjustments, levels, and go. So you can, if you think it looks okay, you can just go in. This is just corrects your colors. So I'm on the first one. You can hit auto and see how I just made everything a little bit brighter. But you can still, so this red behind me, and then there was a red wall over here. You can kind of see that redness reflecting on my cheek right there. The cheek that's turning to it. Like the side of my face is super white. That's kind of red. So you can hit auto if you think it looks okay. In some instances though, you need to go in and individually do this. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to hit cancel, image, adjustments, levels. So if the auto didn't work for you, this is what you need to do. You go into each individual color and you can just move things in. A good rule of thumb is move your little triangle things here to where the color spikes up. And then green. Blue. And like I was really green for a second, but all of your colors just kind of balance each other out. Now I'm looking a little bit green. So let's go back into green and see what we can do. Now I look a little too red. It's just a matter of playing with it to get it to look just the way you want it to. Like make it look like the colors were that day, because the camera captures colors, but it doesn't always capture the true colors. And then you put them on your computer and the computer messes things up because your screen's not calibrated or whatever. And then when you post it on, I always check photos too. I would send them to myself and see how they look on my iPhone, because even from going from a MacBook to an iPhone, your colors can change. If you don't do anything drastic, you should be okay, but if you, I don't know, if you change the color of a wall behind your model, like I did a really pretty turquoise color on a graphic I did, and then I sent it to my phone and it was like bright mint green. Like just make sure your colors are going to convert to the different devices. Okay, so I'm okay with this. I'm gonna hit okay. I look a little dark, my legs and the area around me, so I'm gonna brighten it just a little bit. So one quick way to brighten the image is to just go to Image, Adjustment, Brightness. But this can easily make everything that's already bright too bright. Your contrast the same way. It can make things, it just makes things look crisper and stand out more than they should. Like I don't want this door handle back here to stand out as much as that when I contrast. And y'all might be able to tell, might not be able to tell a difference. It's just preference. Whatever you think looks good, go for it. But you need to remember what you do so your brand looks consistent every photo you do. So maybe try out a few photos before you get a process down, because this photo might look okay if me bumping up my contrast, but try a different model photo, see if the same thing works. It might make your model look like she has crow's feet when she doesn't. Just play with things before you get set in stone. So the way I always brighten things is I go to Image, Adjustments, and Curves. So you can change your RGB same way in levels. You can go into each level and lighten things, but I usually just stick to doing it as a whole. And you can do a lot of different things in here too, and I'm sure you can find other tutorials or ask your friends like what all of these different things mean. Or a graphic designer. There's, yeah, you can do so many things, but I usually just move this around until I get it to where I like. And then you can always hit your preview button over here and see what it looked like before and what it looks like after. So let's say this isn't working for me. It didn't fix my problem. So generally, I would hit OK, but I don't like this for some reason. We're going to hit cancel. Now, I like the color I am, but let's say I don't like how dark everything is around here. I'm going to go get, my dodge tool. And I'm going to make my brush pretty big. Now, you need to be careful with this. Okay, so you don't want to go too much because then you'll have to go in all on these edges with a smaller brush and get it perfect. So I'm just going to even out the color on the bottom so it's as bright as the top. Okay, so let's go to history and see what I did here. Okay, so if you're going to do a full body shot and the coloring looks off, you can use your dodge tool. Same way if something looks too bright down here, grab your burn tool. Now, your exposure up here, I selected my burn tool. So your exposure, let's bump it way down. And let me show you what it does. You can see it kind of making it darker. Now, when I bump it way up, see how much darker it makes everything? So that's what your exposure does. If you can go over here and adjust your size and your hardness, so like this is a soft and this is really hard. So your edge is just hard. The softer you go, the more like cloudy buffer kind of it gives your brush. So I just went back up to the dodge tool and erased the things that I did to show you the exposure for the burn tool. Okay, so now I usually go into filter and sharpen, and I just hit sharpen once. Now sometimes that's not enough, sometimes it's too much. Your image might be fine just the way it is. You just need to be careful with sharpening because it can make your pictures like pixelated when they're not. Especially like this photo is taken kind of farther back of me, and if I'm going to leave it like this, sharpening it once is fine. But let's say I want to go in and I want to do just a 5x5 because I want to do a profile picture. Yeah, let's do that right there. I zoom in and it looks just a little blurry. So I'm going to go in and go sharpen more. And see how I made it so pixelated? Go and do that. Want my face look not old. Okay, so let's say your model in your boutique photo has a huge Z on her forehead and the cover up is just not cutting it. So you can go in, put your spot healing brush, and like this is a mole right here. Let's say you want to take the mole off. You just click and it disappears. I've got some bumps right there. You can take, oh, it kind of messed up right there. You can take all of these inconsistencies out. So the way this tool works is it pulls from colors that are similar to the color that's there. So like when I get too close to my hairline, it'll pull from that color right there. So just be careful about that kind of stuff too. Now, these leaves over here are driving me crazy. I don't like them. So we're gonna go get the clone stamp, or I believe, let's see if this will work. I went to the healing brush, patch tool. Just gonna grab this. Oh, whoops, my bad. Okay, so we're gonna grab the leaves and then pull it down quite a bit. Let's go for that spot. Did that work? No, it looks fake. So let's try again. Let's try going up this time. Maybe. Whoops. Deselect patch tool. Does that look better? Yeah, a little bit. It looks a little fakey, but that's a simple fix to take things out. Let me show you another way. If it works, obviously this is imperfect and I have to go back in and do some mild fixing around the edges. So let's say I want to take the leaves out again and the patch tool isn't working. I'm going to grab my clone stamp, and this is kind of the long way around it, but you can get the colors exactly how you want to, or you can cover it up exactly how you want to. So you hit Option if you're on a Mac and click, and that turns your brush into that piece. So then and it copies, you can see the little plus sign above it moving down. And you always, when you want to do something else, you always re-click. So my flow is way down, so I'm going to hit Control V a couple times and turn my flow up. So let's just do 100. So let's go Option click, bring it down. See, now my color's way off. So let's go back to flow, Option click. I'm just Option clicking to take all of this out. Okay. Now, I don't know if that looks much better than the patchwork tool that I used just a second ago, but the leaves are gone. And then you can do, so it looks a little dark. Let's grab our dodge tool, make your brush small, lighten it up. Can you even tell that the leaves were there? Maybe a little bit. Okay, and someone might show you a way better way to take out those leaves, because then you can kind of see that this looks like this here. It looks like I copied that. But I mean, unless you're really investigating and looking at the photo, trying to find where people Photoshop, you won't be able to tell. Okay, so let's say I am done. I want to export this photo. I'm going to go File, Save As, and I always save my photos as a JPEG. So let's do Cassidy, Profile, JPEG. Okay, so you can do, if you're just gonna post your photo online, you can shoot for like a medium range. This just, you only want to go for maximum if you're going to be printing the image. It's going to be blown up somewhere big, that kind of thing. Yeah, you can go for high or even medium if you're just going to use it for online use. So let's say I'm just going to use this on Facebook. I'm going to go, let's go about 6 right in the middle. Hit OK, and it is saved. So now, File, Save As, JPEG, Photoshop, PSD. So let's say that I decide I don't like this over here and I want to go back and put the leaves back in. If you save it as a Photoshop document, you can go back in and take these things out and replace the leaves. But if you save it as a JPEG, it compresses everything and makes it where you can't go back in and change things. You'd have to re-edit the image if you wanted to leave those leaves in there. Alright, so let's say you're just going to do it. This is just a online image and you know it for sure. We save the JPEG as a low resolution file or quality file. If I was just going to print it as a 2x2 at the store, like that'll work. If you want to blow this up and print it as a 10x10, you should have cropped it as a 10x10 first because we only did it at 5x5. But you want your quality to be high. It just depends on the medium that you're going to use this photo is going to be seen in. So let's say that you want to do it as just as online on your website thing. You'd go export, save for web, and this gives you so many options. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff in here. And go watch some YouTube videos somewhere and figure out what all of this stuff means. I usually just use this to change the image for the web. So let's say you can only upload an image that's 600 by 600. You can change the image size right here. It's just great. Anyway, so you can do all this for web. And it'll even pull it up in web for you too. That's neat. Okay, anyway. Let's just hit cancel here. And let's go. Okay, so another thing Ping is really great for is preserving the transparency of things. So let's say I wanted to cut me out and I just wanted to be on like a white background in front of something else on the website, something like that. I'm gonna go up here, get my background eraser tool. Continuous. Looks good. I'm gonna start erasing all of this. Nope, want that to go back down. And I'm not going to do it very great right now just because I'm not going to actually use this anywhere. But you would go in and erase everything with your background erase tool, and you can kind of see some reminiscence of color up where you've already erased. So make sure you thoroughly go over everything. So let me go around my head. And this is going to be very crudely done. I suggest you take more time than I am to do this. You can make your brush size smaller, zoom in, really get everything. So this. Okay. We're going to call that good. Let's pretend I zoomed in and got really close and cleared all of these edges out. So now I want to save it as, I want to save this transparency and pop myself over on top of another photo, or I just want to have a white background on my website. You can go to File, Export, Export As, and then do Ping. Ping will preserve the transparency of the image. So when you open this up, it won't have a background, or what I cut out anyway. And you can click here and change it and do JPEG, and see it leaves all that junk in there. And this is why you need to really make sure you go through and get every little thing, because this will show up even on a Ping. Like all of that stuff in the background will show up as you can see it. But if you took the time and erased everything, it'll just be me. that you'll pop in. And then you just hit export all. You can also change the size things, like if you need to be a 600 by 600. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, then you just hit export all and you would save it as a ping and then you can upload it. All right, well, I think that is all I have to show you. Oh, one more thing. So actions are like Instagram filters for Photoshop, except they are way more in depth. They're not just a filter over the photo, they fundamentally change like the elements of the photo, if that makes sense. So I like using this boost one all the time, and you can find free filters out there in a lot of places. Just make sure they're free, make sure the license doesn't say that you have to credit the maker of the action. When you post the photo, make sure they are 100% free, because you do not want to get in that kind of copyright or legal trouble. So anyway, I like Boost. You just click it, and then you hit play here at the bottom. And see how it made everything really, really bright and vibrant? And I just look a little pixelated because I zoomed in on the photo, or cropped in close on the photo. If we were doing this to the original photo, I wouldn't look all dotty. Although it does make things, it bumps up your contrast quite a bit, so it can make things look not as smooth as they are. So I like that it's brighter, but I don't like it that bright. So one easy way to tone down your filter, just like in Instagram, if you click the filter, you can bump it down a little bit. If you go up here to opacity, you can bump it down. So there's the original. I'm just gonna bump it up. Just a little bit. And then okay. So let's say you want to do black and white too, or you wanted to do, I don't know, let's do this colorized, or let's do the 70s one, that looks fun. Hit play. And say you don't like the 70s, but you like the boost, you just click the 70s and drag it down. Actions are really, really great. And once you play around and edit your photos how you want them to be, how you like them, the style, you can even record your own action. So let's say that I wanted to crop every photo I had to a 5x5. I wanted to do all of the things I just did. Like there was leaves in every, let's say I took 10 photos like this and just turned my head and tilted and that kind of thing, like the photos are pretty much the same. And I wanted to take out the leaves and all of these over here, like everything, you can go record and then do everything you do, and then it'll pop up as a new action. And you can even do this and you don't have to crop them. If you just get your system going and like how you do it and want to do every photo that way, just record yourself in action and play with it. See how it works. You may have to make updates, change some things up. But once you get that action perfect, you don't have to edit a photo again. You just open them, hit play. And there's even a way to batch edit, and it has slipped my mind at the moment. I have done it quite a few times actually, but now I can't remember how to do it. But there's YouTube videos out there too that you can batch edit things in Photoshop, and you literally just have to sit there and decide where you want the image cropped, or if something looks good. Like you might have to do a few things, but for the most part, it does it for you. I know Lightroom is really good at doing batch edits, but there's a way to do it from Photoshop, in Photoshop as well. Well, anyway, if you have any more questions about Photoshop, or if I moved through something too quickly, or didn't cover something you want to know how to do, I am not the expert at Photoshop, but I can certainly try to help you and help you try to figure it out to the best of my ability. And just use what I showed you as a foundation for editing photos in Photoshop. You may want to look at some other people on YouTube that are really great photographers and edit their own photos and do all kinds of neat stuff. Or heck, your sister-in-law or someone else you know might have some tricks up her sleeve too. This is just to give you a basic understanding of what you can do in Photoshop. Anyway, if you have questions, message us on Facebook, send us an email, start a thread in a group. You know the drill. Thanks.